I will not be able to accept even coins from such exchanges to be transferred to myself. So these assets will be, how can I say, somehow
Like fenced in or something.
fenced abroad.
All righty. Thank you for doing this, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. To start with, can you please tell me your name and what you do?
Yes, my name is Oliver Stauber. I'm currently serving as the CEO of KuCoin in Europe. And I'm heading all these operations, getting all these licenses for Europe and getting a compliant business done in Europe. Yes.
Right. We'll get into what your current job is now later. But first, can you tell me a little of your history?
Yes.
Right. What is the path that led you to becoming the CEO of KuCoin Europe?
So first of all, I used to be a qualified lawyer. I got into the rabbit hole of crypto 2015, 2016. So I'm nearly there in this industry since 10 years. Having been a trader myself, I learned I don't want to be the next M&A lawyer. I know the 10,000th one in Europe. But I found there's nobody taking care about crypto in law, in Austria at least. So I'm based in Austria lawyer. And so I was the first one taking care of all these legal and regulatory issues when it comes to crypto, because there were Wild West back in the days, no regulations at all, the good old times. But after that, I got my own law firm together with some partners focusing only on crypto. We even have been advising the Minister of Finance for all these regulations to come, AML and all that stuff. Also established a Digital Asset Association, so an NGO fostering the crypto ecosystem in Austria and Europe. And last but not least, I ended up firstly with our dear competitor Bitpanda, where I used to serve as the general counsel for a couple of years and did all their licenses, most of them at least. And last but not least, I stepped up as a CEO now for KuCoin as our global CEO. BC is also used to be a lawyer before, so I have a global CEO I can talk on the same level.
Same lingo, nice. Same vocabulary.
Yeah, same language, and also same importance when it comes to compliance and regulatory.
Right, yes. We'll be talking about that soon enough. Follow-up question. What initially were you attracted to in 2015 to crypto? What was
having friends that are in these scenes from the very beginning, since Bitcoin inception, so to say, they always were reaching out to me and say, you need to buy, you need this new thing, this new asset, it's Bitcoin. And I said, oh no. And then it was, it was 10 euros and then it was 100 euros. And no, it's much too much. I don't spend 100 euros for nothing, the normal thing. At the end of the day, I joined in 2015. I guess it was 300 something. And started to invest. Yeah, now it's still a good price, but 2017, that was the first bull run, so to say. And when it came back, I sold everything. Everyone said it's over now, the first time that Bitcoin died. However, as I then used to be in that field, I started doing it again. And I guess I still have a quite good average price.
Yeah. I can imagine, though, as a lawyer at that time, you must have been looking at this and thinking like, oh my gosh, this is not regulated at all.
Yes.
All these companies are probably like in the gray zone or even more, right? Like, was it like that? You saw this?
Absolutely. So having been a lawyer and used to advise a lot of startups. I'm also very much into the startup ecosystem in Austria. I was coming from another angle, I seen that as a kind of new means of financing for all these projects and companies.
Oh, interesting.
I did all these ICOs in Austria, for example, for Austrian projects, which was quite interesting because it was also as the government and the policymakers didn't know what this is all about. They were just saying, oh, wow, they're getting money for nothing. They're giving up nothing but getting money and doing financing with it. However, as you also know, a lot of projects failed afterwards, so it was also quite difficult. However, then the regulation picked up, and get up speed. And for me as a lawyer, I always advised my clients in the meaning of we need to have this regulation to also have you guys in the safe place first, Otherwise, it's hard for me to advise you if there's no basis on that we can rely on if something goes wrong.
Yeah, totally. So speaking of rules and regulation, the EU, I think I'm an American, and the EU was ahead of America. It still is in terms of regulation
Yes.
and like regulatory frameworks. They have the what's it called? The Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, MiCA.
MiCA.
Or MiCA. I was just wanted to hear your opinion. Do you like this regulatory framework? What's missing? What do you think needs to be changed?
So first of all, I like it because it is the first regulation which is covering all over Europe. Because as of now, there were only these AML rules and regulation, and you needed to have a registration in every jurisdiction. I guess with Bitcoin back in the days, we did 10 or 17 or something, you know, this is a lot of work, and it was a little bit different in any jurisdiction. Now this MiCA is going to take place everywhere in Europe, the same thing. It's very much derived from another regulation which was already in place since many years, which is the MiFID. It's for the investment firms. It's investment firm regulation, capital markets law. So it was very much based on that, and some paragraphs even copy-pasted, you know.
Well,
this is Europe as well, you know.
If it works, if it works.
Yeah, they speeded up the process like this. They didn't have to think about new terms, you know.
Soon it will be ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe
Like
this
some
would
tariffs,
be better.
like some tariffs. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but so that the fact that we now can have, for example, we are having our headquarters in Europe, in Austria, in my hometown in Vienna, which is quite handsome for me. But as soon as we have this license, we can passport it all over Europe. Yeah, this license, however, is only covering spot trading, margin trading, crypto only, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
We as KuCoin are also offering products like, you know, futures, derivatives, perps, all that stuff. This is not covered by MiCA.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's covered by older finance.
MiFID.
Yeah,
Still MiFID. So you need to have this MiFID license. However, we also have a Q card, you know. If you want to issue your own card, I need an e-money license. So I have 3 entities to run in Europe with 3 different licenses we are running for currently. Hope to get them as soon as possible for sure. But to be able to offer all our global products and services, I need 3 licenses in Europe.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Interesting.
Having said that, what we currently face is that there is still, unfortunately, because MiCA was in place to make a level playing field for all over Europe. It shouldn't matter if you do your license in Austria, in Ireland, in Malta, in whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
However, it turns out that different jurisdictions have a different interpretation in some points when it comes to MiCA.
I've heard of this.
And this is very troublesome, you know, for all of them, you know, for all the NCAs, the regulators, you know, they're taking care because now they are completely confused. How could this happen? You know, it should not have happened in the first place. And now they are currently going back, slowing down all licensing processes to now align on that topics, you know, to then come back and give out the licenses only with a aligned interpretation of their own regulation that they put in place. You know? This is a small difficulty. And there's another topic which we don't know by now, but we hope that is going to be the place, which is going to be very important. Because what is not to be intended is that the European users will still be able to trade on offshore exchanges.
Okay.
You know, because we are putting a lot of efforts into this licensing stuff. You know, a lot of great talent to be on board, which is very expensive. The licensing process is expensive. All these auditors, all this, you know, even
compliance.
You know, it's a really huge investment.
Yes.
Yesterday we announced on stage that we are going to have this trust project, which is fostered by $2 billion to be compliant anywhere where we go public, so to say, and go to join our users. However, it should not be the case that anyone then can go easily to offshore and enjoy the offshore services. You know? So we hope that there will be some guardrails around that. For example, excluding these apps from App Store, Google Play, whatever, you know, and or what they already planned, but we don't know how they execute it. That you are not going to be able to on-ramp, off-ramp fiat
in Europe
to these exchanges.
Yeah. Right.
So, and this makes it then very hard because for me, example, MiCA also provides for me as a compliant exchange, or we are going to be a broker in Europe. However, I will not be able to accept even coins from such exchanges to be transferred to myself.
Wow.
Yes. So these assets will be, how can I say, somehow
Like fenced in or something.
fenced abroad. So you
Yeah.
would need to have a bank account abroad or something else that
Yeah.
you can access these
Wow.
assets again.
Wow.
So this is the plan they told us. If they are executing on it, as we have seen now already in the first place, where we thought this is the easy game,
Yeah.
it's going to get interesting.
That is, yeah, that sounds, I mean, I understand both sides, right? Like you definitely want to protect users, and compliance is really, really important, especially with like mass adoption, right?
Yes.
You gotta protect normal people. But at the same time, not being able to transfer my crypto, my Bitcoin outside of that to me sounds too far. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll see.
No, but this is compliance is also for me, being a lawyer.
Yeah.
But there's also this winning aspiration. Yeah, as you said, users, especially also in Europe, they like to have the security. They like to have a compliant partner, that they know there is the FMA taking care of these guys if they do something wrong.
Yeah.
So that gives a lot of security and especially also trust. And trust is the foundation of everything when it comes to finance.
Yeah, I agree. And also, at the very beginning, when you were talking about MiCA, it reminded me of the U.S., which I've talked to a lot of like Bitcoin miners or people in exchanges and stuff in the U.S., and how they have to get licenses in every state.
Yes.
And then it's like, this is just, can't do this. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, hopefully the U.S. will get some kind of MiCA-like thing where it's the same process for all the states, because, I mean, what a overwhelming burden, I feel like.
Absolutely. And we didn't cover the tax topic here. In Europe, this is still a mess. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the taxes are different in any jurisdiction still, So in Austria, for example, we have a withholding tax on capital gains on crypto, but only if you cash out. If you convert to fiat, as long as you stay in crypto, and even stablecoin is crypto.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's not taxed at all. This is a very nice concept. Yeah, I convinced the Minister of Finance that this is a good thing.
I agree. Okay, so let me ask you about kind of the, I would say, sentiment or narrative around Europe, at least in the crypto community that I'm in, is Asia is very much considered like at the forefront.
Yeah.
The U.S. is not that great in terms of regulation, but still pretty good.
Not now.
Yeah, but the EU tends to have this feeling of being a bit of a laggard. I was wondering if you feel that, or if you think that's true, or not.
Traveling a lot in the last couple of years, you can really see that. If you go to Token2049 Singapore,
And we're in Dubai right now.
We are in Dubai for now, this vibrant feeling anywhere. There's this huge innovation. When we talk to projects in Asia, for example, they have no regulation at all for anything. Everything they do that would be even banking services in Europe. And you would need a banking license for it. But for sure, there are a lot of good projects. Some of them maybe also fail, but the innovation is incredible. The US side maybe is changing very fast. Mr. Trump did a 180 turn, now, and he's doing so fast everything we cannot follow up even.
I know.
We don't know where it ends up. We don't know what will happen after him. Maybe.
I know. Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
But for crypto, for sure, it's very good. Even Canada now has a prime minister, which is very much open for crypto as well. They will also get maybe new rules and regulations. So what I personally hope, and I can just share my personal view, but Europe is really Europe, We're doing regulation, this is what we are really good in, Sometimes it's a little bit hindering the innovations. Even when it comes, for example, we also have the first AI Act in the world, trying to regulate this space as well, which is also influencing our business, because in Web3 and nowadays also in crypto, a lot is coming with AI. So we need to consider also this law.
Yeah.
However, I hope at least that with this changing administration and regulation in US, maybe it will influence also a little bit Europe, so that we not really lower, but maybe find another way of having these processes done and this regulation done that it is more innovation friendly. Again, for example, DeFi currently is not covered by MiCA.
Mm-hmm.
Also, NFTs are not covered by MiCA. However, they're already working on MiCA too, so that they also can cover these parts. And let's see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
As said, regulation is good, but it needs to be practical.
Yeah. What about the European, like, average person? Like in Asia, I feel like crypto is embraced very easily. There's less skepticism, less suspicion. What is it like in Europe? Or like, if you like walk around and you were to ask a random person, would they be a little more hesitant, or are they very much accepting of it?
I guess it's a difficult question for Europe. However, I would say that people that know about it all would be very open.
Okay.
However, there's missing information all over. Although there is quite a lot of adoption already, especially in Austria, Germany, France, Spain, Netherlands. We have a quite high adoption already.
Yeah.
And this also shows that there is the openness and interest to that.
Okay.
As said, also now even more when we have this regulation in place, even now TradeFi comes in and wants to offer these products and services either in cooperation or on their own behalf. So also their users and customers, the banking customers, will get access to this asset class. So it's already seen as a known asset class nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
This is also fostered by the regulation, and this will help adoption. And although especially the regulators were always only pointing on crypto with being scammy and criminals and means of payment for darknet, you know.
Yeah.
They also understand now. Even my CEO of our regulator, in his last speech, said, "Okay, maybe there's also this innovation part, you know." Because in the last years he always said this is a criminal thing, you know. But this time, the first time, he said, "Okay, but maybe there's also a finger to innovation," which is good.
Yeah, that is good. That's good. Okay, cool. All right, so my last question is, again, lingering on Europe, now talking about governments.
Yeah.
Yesterday at Token2049 Dubai, CZ said that he was speaking about countries looking at strategic reserves, right? Like a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And he said, quote, "Europe isn't part of the discussion. It's missing on the map." Do you feel like the European countries, the governments, are very far behind on this issue? Crypto, Bitcoin reserves, strategic reserves, all of this kind of stuff from your point of view?
Unfortunately, I have to agree with CZ. This is definitely the case. There's even in some countries like Germany, there's a law that is even providing for the state not being allowed to own any assets, any crypto assets at all.
Oh, that's right.
They sold.
Yes, that's right.
Last year,
oh my God,
a bunch of Bitcoin.
Just like market sold it, right?
Which they frozen and taken away from criminals. You know, at the very worst market. You know, they could have tripled the price at the end. And however, I still believe this is exactly what I meant also before when I was talking about the US and changing their minds on crypto. And this maybe could influence Europe. However, it will take a long time. You know, we're talking about maybe years when they will see, okay, maybe this is also a good thing and we will also have a crypto reserve. Yeah. I am doing my best. I hope I can play a part there as well to advise them in doing so. But for sure, this would be the ultimate breakthrough. You know, if the state actively says we are going to own Bitcoin, you know, this is also for mass adoption.
Yeah, that would definitely set a tone.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, one more question, just a last question.
Fine.
Do you have any advice for like crypto projects or companies that want to move into Europe and want to start a business there, want to I've talked to a lot of, I'm based in Asia, so I talked to a lot of Asian-based crypto companies who then want to move move into like other markets, for example, Europe. So I was wondering if you have any advice for other.
Sure.
Yeah, please.
First, get your right lawyer.
Probably, yeah.
No, when we're talking about projects, you know, for example, to get listed, also with the KuCoin EU exchange or broker, you need to have your white paper ready. You know, projects and tokens need to have a white paper to get listed in Europe. So it's more or less a small, how can I say, a capital markets prospect, but really a small one. However, this is the entry, so to say, to do business in Europe. And then to find the right partners. I don't know what's the business, but normally you will find some partners that are already in Europe and will help out. And yeah, that's maybe the best way to do it.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, all right. Thank
Have
you.
a great talk.